Welcome to Talk Cosmos, the show where sueminahan and her panel of guests bring you insightful conversations to awaken consciousness for soul growth. Come journey with us through astrology's energetic cycles and get ready to understand your path in the cosmic roots of the stars.
Hello, everybody. I'm Sueminahan. This is Talk Cosmos, and it is December 7th, entering December, and we're looking at a series of 3 squares on Planet Buzz. I'm just going to let our panel talk about this, so we're ready now for Planet Buzz.
Focusing on perspectives of pattern planet cycle relationships and understanding their archetypal energy consciousness, reflecting through history, current events, mythology, and philosophical questions, these are the members of Planet Buzz.
I'm sueminahan, founder of Talk Cosmos since 2018. I'm an evolutionary astrologer, consultant, speaker, writer, vibrational astrology student, Dwarf Planet University graduate, Kepler Astrology Toastmasters Club charter member. I have a fine arts music degree plus a certificate in jazz. I'm an artist, musician, and certified color energy life coach. Especially, I love mythology and esoteric philosophies.
And I'm Dr. Laura Tad. I work as a spiritually oriented psychological astrologer with students and clients around the world. As a counselor, writer, and educator, I love helping people recognize their inner strengths, take advantage of auspicious moments, and navigate times of challenge with greater ease. On my own podcast, Mythic Sky Storytime, I discuss astrology, mythology, and actualizing our full potential. Learn more at mythicsky.com.
Plus, a special guest who we will introduce in just a short moment.
And as the ancient Hermetic Code reveals,
as below, so above. As above, so below.
Hello, Laura, Dr. Tad. We're here finishing up the year. Hi.
Yeah, it's good to be back for this last of our episodes this year.
Yes, indeed. And we will introduce Israelajose immediately. He is of London.
Hey guys. Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Always. I'm so glad, from many waters, mine and yours. So Israelajose, his website is sacredplanets.co.uk. He is in London, and that's sacredplanets.co.uk. Dr. Laura Tad is of mythicsky.com in Chutton in Georgia, and I'm in Hawaii here of Talk Cosmos. So Israelajose is, and you can always email him at sacredplanets. Is it probably not .co? It's .co.uk. I didn't correct that. But he is he's a full-time practitioner and teacher of astrology, tarot, philosophy, esoteric teachings of traditional, medieval, psychological, and Vedic. His students are worldwide. Just go to his website because he has a whole academy there and a YouTube channel, and it's very industrious. Getting a hold of Israel is a real treat. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, we'll just jump into this because it is Jupiter square Chiron. And I'll just begin simply to build up the platform for people that Chiron, which is a centaur, that's one of the half animal, half horse, half human, mankind. I think there are women centaurs too, but at any rate, it's the cross is very elliptical and it crosses Saturn and Uranus. It doesn't actually touch Jupiter, but it can be closer in its orbit to Jupiter's orbit or closer to Neptune's orbit, depending on how elliptical it is. But as far as the factors that we're concerned with, that's an important one because it's a bridge. It's a bridge breaking the traditional Saturnian thinking of roles and timing with the unexpected of Uranian consciousness.
Yeah.
But there was a conjunction back in March of 2023 at 14, almost at the midpoint, 14 degrees 26. But we're going to be talking about 3 waxing, opening squares. The first one was on October 23rd of this year at 23 degrees Chiron, when Chiron was retrograde. And the one coming up will be the 21st of December, when Jupiter is retrograde at 22 degrees, which is really, no, is that a world point in cardinal? No, it's in fixed if it was a world. No, it's a cardinal. It's a world point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a world point. Boy. Okay, and the last one will be next summer on July 1st at the 0 degree of the new signs. And we'll get into that a little bit later, but that's Leo and Taurus. Any thoughts before we go ahead with this?
I think that if we jump into the archetype and then look at the charts themselves.
All right.
Yeah.
Generally, this is just an AI graphic that I pulled up because in Aries, it wants your identity. And worldwide, the consciousness is going forth. And Zeus, in Cancer for the year, it is home. But what is home and for who? These are big questions. And what about ourselves? How do we belong in a world that's changing?
Yeah.
And of course, yeah. And the eagle, of course, is one of his mascots of identity. Well,
I think this has been a big thing. Just to say, I think this has been quite a big thing throughout the world today. One of the topics in terms of our sense of belonging, I know, like the topic for many countries has been immigration. It's always a top, in terms of maybe people migrating, and for most people who do tend to migrate, it's probably fair to say they tend to be economic migrants. They want to go for better. But I suppose, regardless of where people migrate to, we all want to have that sense of belonging in some kind of way. Where is home? And this is why we find very often, like in places like America, for example, I often quite love, because you tend to find, people from all over the world coming there, but they seem to have a way of still having their own communities, but being a part of maybe the US or the American, the country as an establishment. But you might have Chinatown, or you might areas where the Arabs are, or Koreans are, or African Americans, and so on and so forth. So I feel that we're always trying to establish that sense of belonging. Where is home for us? So I think that's a very, very important question. And this square perhaps may be bringing us to investigate that more and explore that more. Yeah,
I would like that very much, because it is true. I know here on this continent, or on the mainland continent, that down in South America or Central America for 20 years, there's been tremendous floods, and the people have been forced to leave, like the Chiapas down in Mexico, that whole community of indigenous Indian people. But then it's also bad economics make for cartels and other that prey on people, and so it's really a mixed bag, and it's been happening for a long time. This search to find what is home, and as you say, that tug of war about being comfortable in your new environment. Even I in Hawaii here, I find it's always a new identity. Just looking at the trees, there's fir trees. I love it though. Yeah. And I could go on. We could spend our whole hour with this. And I know Laura has something to say, but I am thinking my father came from Norway, and he also mentioned with Ellis Island, because we went back 50 years later, or 70, he was an old man. And Ellis or Brooklyn, for instance, you could tell how people were integrating. When he was there, it was Scandinavians, Jewish people, and Italians.
Italians,
And now it was all Asian people.
Right,
and I
right.
think it is now. So, yep.
Yeah.
Laura, you had a thought?
Yeah, well, and we can touch on it throughout the episode, but I think some of what I'm seeing.
You got
is
muted.
There's also
Oh no, you're okay. It was just frozen.
Yeah, you got me muted for a moment there.
That there's also a revisiting of family that did immigrate. So like my sibling, my full brother and I, who are looking at getting our Polish citizenship when our grandparents immigrated. I have lots of friends that are tracing ancestry to try and get citizenship in additional countries.
Oh, it's muted again.
Our grandparent came is being revisited as we're then looking at returning in some capacity to why they fled. Or in my grandparents' case, got stuck in this country during World War II.
Right.
But that there is, as I have lots of friends who are like in the actively process of getting passports in countries that their parents or grandparents came from.
Right.
Yeah, and Norway doesn't allow that, but that's a fascinating.
And so there is that, and there was a lot of wounding to come, right?
Right.
Like for whatever reason people fled, there was some wound, whether it was socioeconomic or persecution, or there was some reason people were leaving homeland and home and family and leaving family behind often, and wounding around not seeing family again. And now
absolutely
going back.
Going to our archetypes, Chiron is called the wounded healer. He had quite a few rejections. One was his parents, because Saturn's his father, who who shapeshift into a horse. And so he is a centaur. But unlike the other centaurs, he was rejected because he was fostered by Apollo, because both his mother, the nymph, and he rejected him. And therefore, he's this master, refined teacher. But yet, the story goes because he was wounded by, in a sense, something that he had helped create. He helped Hercules, the hero, discover how to poison an arrow. But it was so incurable that when he himself accidentally got shot by it in this riot, with the centaurs, who were searching for wine, that when they were going to celebrate Hercules returning from one of his labors of ventures, he couldn't heal himself. And so therefore he had to sacrifice his life, give up his life in exchange for Prometheus, who was being, I know I'm throwing a lot of this out, I'm trying to get to the fact, but it is where we need to transform. We need to literally give something up, let it die in some sense, and rebirth it.
I think I also look at Chiron and that wounded healer as homeopathic.
Yeah.
I like that.
Right.
Oh no, we're losing.
I'm not sure why they're.
Yeah, it seems to be cutting in and out a little bit.
I have total.
We can hear you now.
Yeah, just lead on. We'll wait for the good parts.
I don't know. I have full.
Everything
bars.
Seems to be connected, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's
like
going on. I don't have a Wi-Fi.
It's like all of this. Well, Jupiter did liberate, and it is very true. At some point, try unplugging and plugging it back up, Laura. That's what Nate, our master in the back, advises.
My internet is on a different floor, Sue.
Okay.
I know how he was saying the microphone.
Oh, the mic.
Maybe plug it in and plug it out sometimes. Okay. Maybe that might.
Well, it is a choice. You know, Jupiter, essentially, because of Jupiter, we have free will now. And I think that is realizing that despite our wounds, if it has to do about identity and home, how do we nurture ourselves? What is it and who belongs? Can we expand our ideas that another herb from another country could be representational to say, yes, I love you. I will get to know you. Teach me your ways, rather than being security minded that won't let in other people.
Yeah. And I feel we're talking about Jupiter, who's in Cancer at the moment. I feel is quite extremely significant for the US. Because in the U.S. natal chart, I believe you have Jupiter in Cancer. So Jupiter, so the U.S. is having some,
a return,
a Jupiter return, which we know is every 12 years. So I feel this is why we may, from that part of the world, but we're hearing it all over the world, to be quite honest. This thing about sense of belonging.
Definitely.
And I feel some people are feeling a bit threatened, which is totally understandable. I can understand, if you're living in a place and then all of a sudden there's foreign people coming. Like, well, who are these people? And what happens when they get here and they speak a different language and they may look a certain way and they dress different and they speak different, and all of a sudden, I'm seeing these different people in my land. So what happens? Does my existence become threatened? Are they coming to invade? Are they coming to overtake? Are they, all kinds of insecurities start coming up, which very often, and again, talking about this wound, I feel these insecurities start coming up, and sometimes it leads to rhetoric or misunderstanding. I feel just like what you were saying there. So I think there is that needing for, okay, well, we're a part of the human family first and foremost. We may come from different parts of the world and we look different and speak different, but let's learn about your culture and learn about mine. And I'm coming from a place that's such and such, or it's war torn, or I come here as an economic migrant, or whatever the case may be. But let's get to know each other, and we can, and that could also help us expand, which is also a more Jupiterian thing. But sometimes there's a lot of pain there also as well, which or things which sort of like bring up certain insecurities too, which we may be finding perhaps maybe coming with the Chiron. So it's interesting because, again, rejection. So I think a lot of people may be feeling rejected.
And natal rejection, one that transfers over. Because how Cancer is wonderful at nurturing, Chiron is wonderful at teaching. So I think with those two emphases, if to use those, even within our own, of our new identity as we're struggling, because small countries can get overpopulated, it seems, in contrast, or religion. But it is reframing. Laura, did you have a...
I just wonder if we should switch to the chart so there's context here.
Yes. Well, we are going back to the last time, just to give a framework. 1918, just a few months before World War I, there was...
before it ended.
Before it ended. Thank you. That's right, because it was from
1914, I believe. 1914
for 4 years. Yeah. Thank you. Big difference. And it was also when Jupiter was in Cancer and Chiron was in Aries, and there were a few.
Because they're squared more regularly. This was just the last time it was occurring in.
It's so elliptical, the Chiron, so it doesn't match up.
And it just happened to be that the last time, because it sort of skipped one, right? Chiron was in Aries 50 years ago, but it didn't quite line up with the square to Jupiter. It bumped into Taurus before they squared. And so we didn't get this 50 years ago, but we got it 100 years ago. And so I think it's just interesting to look back sometimes of the previous cycles to see what was going on there, or just interesting, like Nelson Mandela was born with the square, not exact, but pretty close. We don't have an exact birth time for him. And even like the exact date, they're like, well, it's a little tricky in that part of the world, 100 years, in the early 20th century to know exactly his birthday, but this was occurring. And so that issue around wound and
you disappeared
identity
again.
And family and belonging. And
Yeah, it's come back now.
I don't know what's going on then.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just have to suffer through. Maybe we'll ask you to repeat it.
I've never.
Yeah.
No. I have never had this
know.
issue with this mic.
No,
so
I
I'm
know.
not sure what.
Oh, right.
agree.
Okay. Nathan's saying you
So-
might need to reboot your computer at the break, but okay.
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 I did just update the new OS. Maybe there's something funky with that.
Well, let's go to the Russian Romanov and your thoughts,
Yeah.
and we'll lead on. Yeah, because Nelson or tie us up.
I
again.
mean, that's a textbook. The Romanovs were a family, and they were right. I mean, that just seems like it's a perfect manifestation of the royal family being
yeah.
executed because of how they were treating other people and the wounds around that. You know, yeah.
It is absolutely true. The endings and beginnings is just fact of transformation, and that have taken long periods because Chiron was fostered by Apollo and actually his sister Diana. Well, here we have the last conjunction only a couple of months ago. It was, oh no, that was a conjunction. That's right. March 12th, 2023. And it was in the morning, almost at 2 o'clock in the morning, Eastern time in the States, that is. So it may have been on the 11th in the UK, but it was at 14 degrees, 26 minutes Aries. As we can see, Jupiter is conjunct Chiron at that time with Vesta, the archetype of our altar, our hearth, what is sacred to us. So really, I think that spells out pretty much this idea of this cardinal conjunction that's asking us what is sacred to us as part of our identity.
And I suppose this was also a period where because it was March 2023, and in a way we were sort of like, because it was just after the COVID, because we were kind of in lockdown for about 2 years going into, so 2022, 2023, we're still kind of adjusting in some kind of way in terms of society, and people were, you know, somewhat trying to get back to that normal life that we had, you know, pre-COVID. So again, it was sort of like a new kind of energy, a new sense of identity, like, well, who am I, and what am I doing, and where am I going, kind of thing. And I think that this conjunction may be speaking to that to some degree. Yeah,
I agree. Laura? Yeah, I was trying to think back. That's a good point.
Yeah.
A new identity of
who am I? Exactly. Yeah, who am I?
In Kailua Kona here, this is a small downtown area, and it pretty much closed up. It's finally, you know, rebirthing in classes. And, yeah. Laura, did you have a thought?
Yeah, I mean, I had the similar thought just in terms of the timing.
Yeah.
That it lined up with as things were maybe just starting to open again.
Yeah.
Right. But who are we now? Right. And that ended really solid as a result of the lockdown.
Repeat that last. What was solid? We missed it. What was solid?
Relationship.
Yes. Go ahead. Okay, go ahead. We missed a sentence.
I don't know how to.
No, it's okay. All we'll do, so we don't interrupt and make everybody crazy with us talking about it, is we'll just say, Laura, repeat that.
I think
that's all.
Well,
go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay, so relationships were quite dramatic. Yeah. Okay, we will just let it go. We won't
no worries.
Keep belaboring it. Thank you. Because that was a good point. Relationships, and it's also relationship with like transportation here in the States. I don't know if that was such a conundrum in Europe. Did England have a real, yes, because you're expecting things across the channel.
Right,
And you probably, things got messed up.
And there was a big thing as well with the government was trying to encourage a lot of people who were obviously working from home to get them back out.
That's right.
What happened is the government sort of like spent another year or 2 years trying to get everybody back out to work because everybody was working from home, and they'd set up their You know,
Yep.
they're
And
working
Brexit, too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
Brexit
it was
was all
quite
in
difficult
there.
trying to get everybody back out again, and get them on the transportations and get the transportations running again. It's like the transport industry nearly fell apart because nobody was going out anymore.
It's very apparent over here because the prices keep going up due to that.
Yeah.
But also, I think it was a matter that people were rejecting. I'm thinking of this, a theme of rejection. We felt like we were abandoned from the last worlds that we knew.
Yeah.
And I felt this sense of rejecting. Well, it was complicated.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go to, we have a few minutes to look at the recent square since that conjunction. This was October 23, 2025. And again, this was in the evening, about 6:19 Eastern time. So it would have been about 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, something like that in Europe. So in the afternoon. At any rate, Jupiter's at 24 degrees, 34 minutes. Cancer, and Chiron was at that degree in Aries. There is a grand water trine. There's a significant one with Jupiter, with Mercury and Mars in Scorpio, and Saturn, Neptune in Pisces. So this is a recent time, folks, and we're looking at our emotional story and wanting inclusion, because Chiron is right there with Aries. Maybe, and I know myself, I started recognizing, what have I left out of myself? What have I rejected? It's me that I can bring back in.
I think it's also a great time for, Grand Trining water. I always think this is a wonderful opportunity for healing, perhaps forgiveness. And I feel if we're talking about healing, that really brings Chiron into the picture, where we may have felt a bit inadequate or rejected, not a part of the family, or I feel this is what this is about. And with the square to Jupiter, I think they perhaps it's telling us, Jupiter, which is about expansion, growth, there is no growth without healing. So one must heal first in order to be able to, get that growth. And I think this is what this square is really telling us on a collective level, that we're needing to expand, we're needing to grow, but we cannot do it without confronting or embracing our wounds and, the pain and the rejection. And this is, we're having to do both.
Yeah. Laura, try again.
Well, and I'm be plug in the computer, so maybe that'll.
It's okay. This is better. Just lead on. We'll listen. We won't worry.
But I think part of that too, if I think about Aries and its rushing energy, right? So Chiron and Aries wanting to get over with it already. Like, this wound, I want to be done with the healing. I want to be done. And the square to the Jupiter in Cancer, forcing it to slow down a little bit and go inward a little bit, and not vision horse blinders sort of energy that Aries can be.
Right.
And that you have to go out as well and in as part of the healing. The square forces the healing to have a multiplicity to it that Aries alone doesn't really allow for.
Oh, I love it. This is a great moment to take a pause, get a drink of water, whatever you need, come right back. This is Planet Buzz with Dr. Laura Tad and Israelajose of London, sacredplanets.co.uk, and Mythic Sky for Laura. We'll be right back. Thank you. While we take a break from this week's edition of Talk Cosmos, let's take a look at this cycle's archetype. We are currently in the Yang period of Sagittarius, ruled by the largest of all planets, Jupiter, the Roman god, or Zeus by the ancient Greeks. By leaving a cycle based on power and powerlessness, of life and death and regeneration, involving committed relationships, Sagittarius energy finds meaning for an expanded perspective and potential for actualization
in their search for truth. As a mutable fire sign depicted by the centaur, Sagittarius is adventurous and seeks the beyond. Sagittarius travels to far places, physically and mentally, to find the truths of life.
This is psychological astrologer Dr. Laura Tad. Please join me, Michelle Fleming, and Edja Caleb February 21st through the 28th for Evolutionary Training's annual Goddess Awakening Retreat in Playa El Coco, Nicaragua. Enjoy daily yoga, well-being workshops, melt classes, baby sea turtles, and more. To register, go to mythicsky.com.
Talk Cosmos brings insightful conversations to awaken consciousness for the soul growth with hour-long programs. Talk Cosmos weekly programs are also available to watch live on the Talk Cosmos YouTube channel and Facebook page. While you're there, make sure you click the like and subscribe buttons so you get the full Talk Cosmos experience. Or if you'd rather listen to the show archives with audio only, the entire podcast collection since 2018 is available on most podcast carriers. And to find out about upcoming programs, sign up for the newsletter at talkcosmos.com. So grab your coffee, tea, or kombucha and enjoy the show.
This is Martha Norwalk. Every Sunday morning, beginning at 9 a.m., thanks in part to Natasha Venter at intuitiveclarifications.com, we cover the world of animals. This week, December 14th, we've got one more show with Dr. Nels Rasmussen and Sister Linda Rasmussen together here on Animal World. We'll take your calls and do free remote treatments as usual, but you need to be here to find out about the big changes coming up in the new year. Martha Norwalk's Animal World, Sunday morning, 9 a.m. to noon, right here on Alternative Talk, AM 1150.
Make us part of your daily routine. Alternative Talk 1150.
Hi, everybody. We're back again, and we will begin our little beginning at the halfway. Laura's checking on her equipment, so she'll be back. Israelajose, London,
Yes.
England, sacredplanets.co.uk.
Okay.
And you have that YouTube at .com at the Lunar Lounge Podcast.
That's
the
correct.
whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So here is your website,
Yeah.
and with your school.
Yeah.
can-
People can, even on the website there's, if they go to courses, and you can look up the courses. I do courses from beginner's level to advanced level. It's the only, as far as I'm aware, but yeah, we're the only online school that has 4 live classes every week. So yeah, that's a lot, right? And it's also a blend of traditional, medieval, and psychological astrology as well. So it's sort of like fused together, all 3 disciplines. So students can get to know the what's, the whys, the hows, the whens of astrology, and how everything sort of like connects. Upon signing up as well, they have lifetime access to the courses. It's a certified course also as well, so they get the certificate at the end of it. There are 3 modules. I say 3 modules or 3 levels. So there is the foundational beginners level, and then there's the intermediate level, and then the advanced level. Each one takes approximately probably about just over a year to complete. And then in order to move on to the next level, if one wishes to continue, it's you take the exam and then you go on. So yeah.
That's excellent. I think the fact of the certification, and then with all your videos, I mean, it's really an educational pursuit. And of course, you have such a vast other background, including the Vedic and the esoteric teachings. So it's a full package. Somehow I need to specify. Thank you very much, Israel. And Laura has successfully returned.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
Okay, so far so good. So I know you have your Mythic Sky astrology, and we did hear about this wonderful Goddess Awakening Retreat. That was a wonderful spot. I just loved it. So folks, go to mythicsky.com and there you'll see easily all the information. And it is coming up, but you still have time. It's in February, a great getaway.
Yep. No, it's still 2 months away. More than that. You got plenty of time, and it's super magical. I was just there a month ago.
Oh,
it's a beautiful spot. It's right where the jungle meets the ocean.
Oh, jungle meets the ocean. I love it. Now, tell us about your moon journal. That's exciting.
A moon journal that's for sale that is designed to help you work with each of the 8 phases of the moon. So there's journal prompts for each of the 8 phases, and there's 13 cycles. So there's no dates in it. So you can start at any point in the year or next year. So different journal prompts for every 8 phases, and to start just paying more attention to the cycles of the moon and how that's showing up in your life and in your world and how you can work with it. And then I have a lunar calendar on my website, but it's pretty easy to just Google, when's the first quarter moon and find when that's coming up. So you can fill that out for yourself. So you can get it on my website, mythicsky.com, or you can scan the QR code if you're watching the video.
Oh, I love this. And in fact, always following this particular program will be my moon. We talk about the moon in the next week. For Talk Cosmos, there are quite a few wonderful videos that are still quite relevant now, but coming up will be the new moon, and then next week, and then the winter solstice about vibrational energy. And that's a message of consciousness for the whole theme. It's a wonderful story that evolves out of that. And at the very end of the year, I'm going to have my special, which is Be Your Best Medicine. And it is stepping up to the plate of ourselves. So we'll see how that'll be exciting. Let's go back to our Chiron in Aries and Jupiter in Cancer, looking at who am I, where am I, and who is with me, and how are we going to get forward as we look at the next upcoming one, which is just 5 hours before the winter solstice on December 21st. That will be on Eastern time, 5:07 minutes and 25 seconds in the morning. And for Europe, I think it's 4 hours earlier. So that would be early in the morning, just after 1 o'clock, 1:07. And at this time, it's Mercury is squaring, that's at the bends, speaking traditional thought, between the south and north nodes. And here we have the square. And what's important is, there's so much that we could interrelate with, but I'm looking at Saturn because it trines that Jupiter. And anyway, there's a lot of energies here without going into the details. What do you think?
Yeah, I think there's so much there. And just something keeps pulling me to that stellium there in Sagittarius. The reason why that is because Jupiter is the dispositor. We're talking about this waxing square of Jupiter and Chiron. So it's almost like everybody's being roped in some way or another. Saturn's being roped in as well because he's squaring those planets in Sagittarius, but he's also trining Jupiter as well. So in some way, it's almost like everybody's, there's also a trine there also as well from Chiron to Venus, and we could even say Chiron, the sun as well. So everyone's kind of being roped in there. It's the whole chart is being, integrated in some kind of way. But I feel with, when planets go retrograde, and in this case, we're seeing here that Jupiter's going retrograde. I think he went up to about 25, 26 degrees of Cancer, and then he's coming back now. I feel, and Chiron is retrograding too, but I feel this is really about, when we see retrogrades, it's almost like there's a going back over something. There's something that we have to relearn or something which we have to revisit again. And I feel this is really going to be questioning our Jupiter, who represents confidence and Chiron, which is the wounds, which is our vulnerability. So I think this can be, I'm coining it confidence versus vulnerability sort of thing. How confident are you? Or how confident should you be versus how vulnerable do you feel, or how vulnerable you really are. And I think where something's, that retrograde is like, hey, it's questioning just before the end of the year, just before we step into a new year of 2026. It's almost like the cosmos is saying, hey, hold on a minute, just before you step into the new year, have you sorted out that wound? Are you still feeling vulnerable? Where are you vulnerable? And how confident are you moving forward? I feel these are some of the questions that we are going to be asked,
Yeah, well, and then ultimately, are you guys able to hear me?
No, repeat that just once more. Yeah. Go ahead, repeat.
Are you comfortable with vulnerability?
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Because where in the wound have we forgotten to nurture ourselves? I'm finding that very true with me. I'm as you both are speaking, I'm realizing that this wave has been surging through me, as I'm sure with others. It happens to be, and I was going to remind people, look at your chart. That Chiron is opposite my moon. So my moon's in this great T-square of like, okay, because moons are needy. Moons want something, which ultimately with Cancer, and with Chiron, we can learn, or with even Ceres, we can learn to nurture ourselves. And what is being nurtured? Is that something that has already been done? Or are we just kind of crying the blues, like the roof is falling down or something? Or is it real? Anyway, how can we expand? I like that idea. Yeah. How can we expand to grow? Because we can't heal until we can't grow until we heal. Combining what you both said from the last one, which I absolutely love. So yes, the confidence. Oh boy, here we go. And it's all thinking process, but it's integration. It's going to be a push pull.
Yeah.
Oh boy, let's go to the next, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay. We have here, what do we have? We're comparing the squares. Remember back in 1918, just before World War I ended, when the Romanovs were killed, and also Mandela was born. So there was this birth of and endings. It's pretty complex to see the parallels. I think one of them is the nodal square. To me, that's like where we're coming and where we're going. It's all mutable, first of all, but it's quite existentialist, because at that time, it was more about our belief systems, you could say, in Sag. And now it's more like, how are we becoming one? How are we mobilizing this unity of our common humanity? Would be a beautiful thing to think about.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to be getting echoes of that First World War. Sorry. With what I find with mutable sign energy is things tend to repeat. And when we're talking about the nodes, which is connecting us with past and maybe our sense of where our direction in terms of where we're heading, I feel here that we're probably getting in repeats. Now, my mind seems to be going towards the current war at the moment with Russia and Ukraine. Yes. Of course, end of the First World War, then we had the situation with the, with the families being executed and stuff. And, so same or similar regions, parts of the world.
Yeah.
So I feel we're perhaps getting an echo of that.
Indeed.
And again, going back to Jupiter Chiron, there is something about a global wound because we're in some way and because some people may think that, well, that's happening over there and I'm over here, it's not really affecting me. I think we're all being affected in some way, shape, or form.
Absolutely.
You know, the world is a much smaller place than we think it is. We're depending on each other. We do trade with each other. We rely on goods and products and services, you know, from each other, and that's the world the world is. So we're all being affected in some way, shape, or form. So I feel like this Chiron Jupiter is really asking us here to assess and look at these wounds, you know, and again, it's in Aries. Chiron in Aries is global wounds around identity, independence, and maybe even belief systems also as well. You know, so it's going to bring up inflated egos and ideological ignorance or arrogance and misuse of power and things like that. You know,
I'm noticing there's a grand trine. Is it a grand trine? No, anyway, very good. Absolutely, with Chiron and Eris once again. And look at that. Chiron is not only with Eris now, but Chiron was with the moon then. So there's these double signatures of inclusion in that. Laura, something before we skip on? No. Yes.
No, I think Israel said a lot of what I was seeing as parallels.
Oh, good. Yeah, it yes, with this mutable and the same ideas. Well, we're looking at the next one, which is comparing the recent conjunction with this upcoming square to see possibly if we find something there. I wrote out a list of ideas, but there's a few things that are happening. Of course, with 23 is on the inside and December 21st it's on the outside.
Right.
And
well,
we see
so when we met before the show, Sue, the two things that jumped you've gotten there, at least for DC, we got Mars on the ascendant, almost, you know, pretty tight conjunction to the ascendant, but that the moon is an exact square to the conjunction. The moon for the 21st at 14 degrees Capricorn will be squaring the conjunction at 14 degrees Aries that occurred.
And that'll be anywhere.
Years ago.
Yes, anywhere around the world. That is, which the moon also represents the public, which I know you do some. Yes. And so that's very significant. Besides our own emotional needs and our story, and it's ruled by Jupiter, we're really, it does help that global concept.
Yeah.
And particularly in Capricorn, which has about authority and rules and again, and it tells about, you've both been talking about, is that in Capricorn, we tend to think more, eliminate what might be superfluous to what's fundamental, and emotions maybe kick out of the picture a little bit. But the moon wants to feel that, needs to understand who's the authority, what's the authority.
And I mean, I found natally, moon and Capricorn people are some of the most sensitive people that I know.
Good point. Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
Always that tug of war.
And part of that is like the feeling emotionally responsible for everybody around them.
Oh, yes. Big.
Right. And so again, we get into that idea of family and community is like feeling emotionally responsible for other people's needs. And that wound around if that is or isn't being met, and who is or is not responsible or should be held accountable for that, I think maybe become part of the story that we see unfold.
And it is unfold. It is unfolding. Yes, on a global newsworthy basis. As I'm remembering that we're talking from the conjunction. Let's go to the next one. Here, unless somebody has something they need to say. Okay.
No.
The next one will be in half a year, July 1st, 2026, when both of these planets ingress their next cycle. For Chiron, that'll be an extended period of time, not as long as in Aries. Aries and Pisces are both 8 years, and it's very elliptical, so it starts to dwindle in its time length, but it'll still be several more years. And Jupiter will be for its annual cycle in Leo. These are fixed signs. It's leadership, it's resources, it's quite, it's a strong emphasis. And the nodes are just about to tip into because they go retrograde into the next Leo.
Well, and then Chiron's the point of Thales to them.
Oh, yes, beautiful. Where is that?
Right. Chiron at 0.
Oh, yeah. Sextile and
trine.
to the nodes, into the opposition of the nodes.
Yeah. So it, in some ways, this feels like the one with the most potential to heal.
Right.
Well, we'll have to do our work now. I love that idea because we'll have to. It's going to be leadership. It's going to be using our resources and for survival and creativity, all these great things. But right now we have this ability, this mutable time to really make those, to find out where we're being nurtured, how we need to, who belongs, and etc. We could look at this. This is from 1918 square with July, and it seems pretty packed. Here we have Chiron again at the point of Thales, of that healing point between past and present. But we also have Neptune, which I think we need to jump into more of a spiritual context with the universe, however we look at that, but realize that everything isn't laid out in the material, the inspired realms of life. Did I leave us open? Yeah. I don't know if you really...
I feel this one, I tend to agree that this one, the fixed signs we know have very good, well, they're fixed. So they have endurance and stamina. So I'm inclined to agree with you there, when you said that this is the perhaps maybe the greatest one to be able to heal, because a lot of that fixed sign energy here. And, from the 1918, it seems to also, rhyme with the fixity also as well of the Chiron, the Jupiter Chiron square for 2026 also too. I mean, a question would be to maybe pose as what was the, because I feel the world kind of, although, all right, that was the end of the First World War, and we did have a Second World War from 1939 to 1945, but I feel the world has done quite well, to be quite honest, since then. I mean, a lot of countries have come together since then and made great alliances and stuff. And of course, there's always going to be wars, I feel, and it's been pretty good, and maybe until recent, with the. But I feel maybe the world has healed quite well. But I feel this could also be telling us here that, that endurance to be able to go into that new cycle of healing.
I think so.
With the endurance,
And it'll be a passionate thing. We have Pluto here. It'll be quite passionate. Well, we have, before the music begins, we've been talking about essence of identity, migrations. Where do we belong? Who belongs? What's home? How to protect it? What does it mean? Can we be a good host? That's a very ancient, back to anyway, wars and that, and emotional stories. So here we have, for people to just look at later, this tri-wheel where we have actually the two charts of the USA and UK, along with the 2026 Jupiter square Chiron, this last one. If we just look at the moons It's rather interesting because that's the public. And in each case, I think there is some hope here because of people figuring out new identities. Oh my goodness. Well, I haven't heard the music, but I know it's coming.
Is
that a good note to end on?
Better to be early. But yeah, no. I feel this is definitely a very important time in history and great awakening. Can you hear the music there?
Oh, awakening! Yes. Well, good takeaways are no growth without healing,
right?
And that it is complex. That it isn't just the cycle that we think. We need to let the detours happen, right. And how to nurture ourselves, and to have that confidence of the vulnerability. These are great takeaways. We have a lot to do within 6 months, and we can do it. The planet's helping. There's going to be changing back once going direct. May your holidays, may your worlds bring you light. Thank you, Israel.
Thank you.
Ahose.
Always a pleasure.
And thank you, Dr. Tad. And remember, life does love you. It does keep changing, but it wants our best. So may we help each other. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for joining an insightful conversation on Talk Cosmos, the show where Sue Rose Minahan and her panel of guests awaken consciousness by connecting soul growth patterns with astrology's energetic cycles. Be sure to tune in next week, same time, same place, to continue your journey through the roots of the cosmic pathway.